Mr. President, today I come to the floor to discuss the so-called Green New Deal. America needs every form of energy in order to succeed. The Democrats' extreme Green New Deal would send our strong, our healthy, our growing economy over a liberal cliff. This radical plan would eliminate fossil fuels by requiring 100% renewable, carbon-free fuels in just 10 years. Clearly, Mr. President, we realize that the climate is changing, and the global community has a collective duty to deal with this and address it. Renewables like wind and solar are certainly a key part of the solution, but still in the United States today, wind and solar provide only 8% of our power. Abundant, reliable, and affordable fossil fuels like coal and natural gas, they power about 3 out of 5 U.S. homes and businesses. Excluding them would harm our national security, would make us dependent on foreign energy, would destroy jobs, and would reduce our quality of life. Mr. President, in a letter sent to the Green New Deal sponsors, the AFL-CIO, the nation's Federation of Labor Unions. Now, they represent about 12.5 million employees, 55 different unions. They call the plan a threat to U.S. workers, a threat to U.S. workers. It said, we will not accept proposals that could cause immediate harm to millions of our members and their families. The AFL-CIO also says the plan is not achievable or realistic, and I agree with him. Renewables by themselves, they can't keep the lights on, and all renewable energy electric power grid would collapse. This isn't serious environmental policy, it's a pipe dream. Democrats have yet to provide a cost estimate for the Green New Deal. One analysis by the former director of the Congressional Budget Office estimates it could cost up to $93 trillion, with a T, trillion, $93 trillion. Well, that's more than the U.S. government has spent in our nation's entire history combined. We're $22 trillion in debt right now, Mr. President. So how are we going to pay for it? By borrowing more money that we don't have? By hiking taxes? The crushing burden is going to fall on hardest on working families. But to get to this number, it would drain every person's checkbook in America, starting from Warren Buffett all the way on down. The Green New Deal would cost every American family as much as $65 a year every year. That's more than the average family makes in America. And certainly in Wyoming, the average family income, which is way above average, is $61,000 a year. But despite the heavy toll it would take, the Green New Deal still would fail to significantly lower the Earth's temperature. America already leads the world in reducing carbon emissions. In 2017, the U.S. produced just 13% of global emissions. China, India combined, 33%. So let's take a look at this from a global standpoint. It doesn't make any sense at all to me to destroy our competitive economy and to allow the biggest polluters to continue to prioritize growth at our expense. Backbreaking tax increases, heavy-handed mandates, they're not the answer. The solution is promoting free market innovation. Republicans continue to advance several innovative strategies for reducing emissions. First, we're encouraging carbon capture, utilization, and sequestration technologies. That means actually capturing carbon and using it productively for medical products, for construction products. There are things that we can actually do. Last year, we passed a bipartisan bill in this body signed into law called the Future Act, which expands tax credits for capturing carbon. The Clean Air Task Force calls it one of the most important bills for reducing global warming pollution in the last 2 decades. Our carbon capture work continues with the bipartisan Use It Act, which is going to help turn captured emissions into valuable products. The other thing we're promoting is advanced nuclear power technologies. Nuclear power has helped lower emissions by providing most of American carbon-free energy. In late December, we passed the bipartisan Nuclear Energy Innovation and Modernization Act. This law will help innovators develop new-age nuclear reactors that are cheaper, better, and more reliable. We also have extended the nuclear tax credit to spend completion on 2 new nuclear reactors. They're going to speed that completion, the first in a generation. Together, that will prevent 10 million tons of emissions every year. Third, we're encouraging an increase in use of renewables. Republicans have repeatedly passed tax incentives to promote clean energy. These include tax credits for wind, for solar panels, as well as incentives for biodiesel and compressed natural gas. Look, the clean energy strategy that Republicans have been working on in a bipartisan way are working because America leads the world in reducing energy-related emissions. Since 2007, U.S. emissions have been down 14%. This progress is the result of innovation. So let's continue to promote proven solutions. Let's reject the Democrats' Green New Deal as unreasonable, unworkable, and unaffordable. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.